Here, U.S. President Barack Obama came to office promising to reduce U.S. involvement in the Middle East and end wars of the George W. Bush era. But once again, the U.S. is getting more deeply involved in Iraq and possibly Syria. Nathan King looks at how U.S. policy has been shaped by events on the ground.
Helping Iraqis achieve a united, stable, and free country will require our sustained commitment.
March 2003, as the U.S. launched the invasion of Iraq. Back then, the administration of George W. Bush severely underestimated the time, money, and casualties it would take to subdue Iraq, let alone rebuild it. Less than 2 months after starting a war, standing in front of a banner declaring mission accomplished, then President George W. Bush announced the end of combat operations in Iraq.
And Iraq is free.
Then came the Iraqi civil war, the Sunni insurgency, the growth of al-Qaeda in Iraq, and a surge of U.S. troops.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And then a new U.S. president who vowed to end the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. He talked of the limits of American military power and even largely stayed out of new conflicts in the Middle East, including Syria's bloody civil war, until this time last year. Exactly 1 year ago, the use of chemical weapons in Syria crossed what U.S. President Barack Obama had warned was a red line that would trigger action.
That is why, after careful deliberation, I determined that it is in the national security interests of the United States to respond to the Assad regime's use of chemical weapons through a targeted military strike.
But that action did not happen. U.S. lawmakers indicated they would not approve a U.S. military strike and a last-minute deal with Russia to dispose of Syria's chemical weapons peacefully, which brought the U.S. back from the brink. The terrorist group Islamic State's success on the battlefield, however, had no U.S. stuck to its position of a military drawdown from the Middle East, so then another course correction, a strategy to deal with the latest threat in a region which has known nothing but bloodshed for decades. The chances of success for this latest strategy are unknown, and the consequences unknowable too. 11 years after first invading Iraq, the U.S. exit plan is still far from certain. Nathan King, CCTV, Washington.